Mason Beckman, one of my favorites. Got to start watching you at Ironman, watched you through a college career, and now coaching. Moved over to Quest.
Yep.
So tell me about that transition for you.
Yeah, so I was, when I graduated from Lehigh, I was living and working in the Pittsburgh area, and I was coaching at Quest at that point too. It's the club that I grew up in. Jim Akerley's one of the people that really raised me through the sport. Got a great opportunity to work with great people down at George Mason, and I coached at the college level for a year. Had a ton of fun. For a variety of reasons, I made the decision to move back to Pittsburgh, be closer to family, and I didn't think that maybe kind of decided that wasn't what I was going to do for the rest of my life. Right?
Yeah.
So I moved back to be closer to family, living and working right in downtown Pittsburgh now, back with Akerley. So it's been a great transition. Both sides were incredible the whole way through. I can't thank Frank Beasley enough for everything he did for me. Not just the opportunity, but everything I learned, everything he taught me at George Mason. And they've got a great thing going, man. They're building a special thing down there. It's just, got to do what's right for you.
Nice, absolutely, and I can appreciate that. What's it like now being on the coaching side at Quest? So you are again, so.
Right.
But being an athlete there once,
Yep.
and feeling the coaches, and now being the coach that the athletes feel.
It's awesome, man. For so many reasons. Again, I owe more than I could ever express to Jim Akerley, not just in wrestling, but in life. He's a big reason that I am the person that I am. So getting to coach alongside of him is a ton of fun. And again, I'm continuing to learn. The dude's a wealth of knowledge on so many things. So it's fun to learn with him. And it's kind of a cliche, but it's a bit of a dream come true to coach that club. And we're incredibly fortunate with the kids and the families that are in the club right now, not just at the high school level, but all the way through. We got great kids, got great people that permeate it. So it's awesome being on the other end of it, helping, and at that level you really help kids grow up. And the wrestling's awesome. And anybody that knows me, I'm a wrestling junkie. I will talk and be involved in wrestling for as long and as much as possible. But watching and helping those kids grow up, this group of seniors right now is really that first group that when I would come home from Lehigh in the summers and stuff like that, I'd be in the Quest room all the time. I've watched this group grow up, like Sammy and Thane and Luke Stout and Luke Montgomery and those guys. I've watched them grow up, and it's incredibly proud of who they are as people, and that's my favorite part about the whole thing.
Yeah, so how do you you coach wrestling, and I guess you're coaching life too.
Right.
That's important to you. So how do you do that?
Yeah, I think you roll it all into one, right? Sports are an avenue through which we can teach greater life lessons. Especially the beauty of wrestling is, accountability, right? We've all learned accountability through the sport, because at the end of the day, if you didn't make it happen, it's because you didn't make it happen. I'm sure we've all had that conversation with a coach or a parent, or probably both at one point. So you teach them both, right? And often we relate lessons that we learned, that those kids learn, that we preach in the room. You relate those lessons to greater things in life. How to handle adversity, how to be accountable, how to work hard. All of those things are things that can be taught in the wrestling room, but also need applied in life. And our club motto or mantra, or however you want to put it, there's 3 things you want to do in order. 1 is good person. 2 is good student. 3 is good athlete. Right? So be a good person, good student, good athlete. We say it every night at the end of practice. Kids say it before we break it down. So I think consistency. Right? You just keep hammering home do the right things.
All right, you said the word adversity. I've been asking all the coaches about it. Just kind of general, your thoughts on adversity.
I think, adversity, it's an inevitable fact of life, right? Life's going to throw you curveballs, and you gotta figure it out. But adversity, I think, is an opportunity for a couple of things. 1, it's an opportunity to learn. And number 2, when you're put in adverse situations, sometimes it's an opportunity to be great, to do something really, really special, and to learn something about yourself. For example, I remember, it's my junior year at Lehigh at NCAA's. I got upset first round. Sitting in the back, and it is. It's like, what, you're trying to process what happened, trying to process the fact that, you're no longer in it to win a national title and that kind of thing. Brad Dillon came back and talked to me. Had a conversation. He goes, all right, well, you got a decision. He goes, this situation sucks, but I've been here. You can do 2 things. He goes, you could pack it up, go home. All right. That happens all the time every year. There are seated guys that go home. He goes, but do all the right things. You put all the work in. Right now is a chance to turn around and go do something that not a lot of people are able to do. Go do something, digging through the backside to get on the podium. It's not fun. It's not something I would ever recommend to somebody. It physically hurts a lot, but again, it's just a situation where you look at it and you go, you just got to move forward, and that's one of those things that adversity teaches you, is control what you can control and move forward. So that's just a small little example, and a lot of times in adverse situations, we need a 30-second conversation like what I had with Brad Dillon. And I've probably never told him this in person, but without that conversation, I don't think there's a very good chance that I wrestle all the way back to the end of the podium.
That's cool. That's cool. You've had some good coaches going through.
Yeah, I was really lucky, man. At Quest, grew up wrestling for a guy that was Division I All-American, a Division I head coach, and Jim Akerley, a guy that, again, is a wealth of knowledge in so many ways. And through Jim, his friendships and that he knows, Kenny Monday and Nate Carr were regular, not crazy regular, but we're consistently in our room at one point or another every summer. Scott Collins, who was national champion of West Virginia, pops in and out. Mark Cagle, who coached in West Virginia for a long time. So through, not just Jim himself, but through Jim, some great coaches, the Reynolds High School and developmental staff. There's a reason that program has never had a losing season.
Yeah.
Which is an incredible stat. They got over 600 wins and less than 100 losses in Reynolds history.
That's crazy.
It's amazing, let alone for a school that graduates 90 kids. My dad was a huge influence, both wrestling and otherwise, and I am not the man that I am today without him, in physically or otherwise, right? And then at Lehigh, I could never speak highly enough of Pat Santoro, John Hughes, Brad Dillon, the volunteer assistants I had. Jason Kutz was there early. Jeff Buxton was there as an RTC coach, and then Mako. Mako's one of my favorite people on the planet. He's a very misunderstood guy, but he is awesome. Drew Headley, Darius Little, just awesome people. And then again, being down at Mason, learning from Frank, from Cam Eppert, and Bo Donahue, I've gotten to coach with and wrestle for some awesome people. I've been really lucky.
That's cool, man. Mason, it's always good to see you. I appreciate you like crazy.
Yeah, you too, man.
You got anything else you want to share?
Not much, man. Just keep fighting a good fight. What you're doing is awesome. And the thing that I love about what you're doing at Grow Wrestling is the purity of it. You do it for the love of wrestling and to promote and help grow our sport. And I think that's something. Grow Wrestling gets thrown around a lot. I think a lot of people are misdirected with it because they use the term Grow Wrestling to self-promote. You guys are doing it for the right reasons, and it's awesome to see.
Dude, thank you.
Absolutely.
Have a good day, brother.
You as well, my friend.